Hi guys, thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Chantel Casal and this is my first YouTube video. So I'm really excited to have you guys here. For those of you who decided to click on the video, just a little bit of background about who I am and kind of why I decided to create this channel. So I'm a newlywed, just got married in January. And when I first got engaged, I was looking for like kind of information out there on how to prepare for marriage, really just anything about marriage. I grew up in a single parent home and I never really saw a successful relationship look like as it relates to marriage. So I didn't have that image growing up, and so I had to create kind of like a guideline, if you will, about what marriage is. So this video is going to be some steps on how to prepare for a successful marriage, and I hope you guys enjoy. Real quick before I get started, kind of like a disclaimer, my videos speak to my experience personally. Any video that I create is going to be based off of my experience, and then I'm just sharing my experience with you guys. So please don't be rude or anything like that. Some things may work for you, some things may not. Just take what works and leave what doesn't. So let's get started. So I have my little notebook right here, so if I'm looking down, it's for that purpose. Okay, so the first tip that I have for you guys is to define what marriage means to you. So when I say that, what I mean is, how do you value marriage? How do you see marriage? To me, how you value marriage and how successful your marriage will be kind of weighs hand in hand. So if you have a high value for marriage, you'll have a successful marriage. And kind of an example of that would kind of be like, you hear a lot of guys saying, oh, well, marriage is just a piece of paper. It's just a piece of paper. And so when they go into marriage, they have that mindset that, okay, well, I could still kind of go back to doing what I was doing, living my single life. And that's just not the case, right? You don't want your husband coming in at 2 in the morning every weekend and going out partying every weekend and think he could just hang with the boys. And no, when you get married, things change. And so both parties need to be able to change together and shift together. So when you kind of break down the value and how you value marriage, how you see marriage, that can lead to a successful it can lead to a successful marriage, and it also helps you to fight for your marriage. So like if you don't really value marriage in a high regard, then that might cause you to like throw in the towel anytime there's an argument and not really try to fight for something that you value. If you don't value something, or if you don't have a high value for something, you're not going to try to fight for it. You're not going to protect it. You're not going to hold on to it. You're just going to kind of let it go, right? So that will be the first tip that I have for you guys. And these tips are not in any sort of order. They're just like how I just wrote them. So the second tip is, what are your expectations for marriage? So to me, this is extremely important. It's important to know what kind of expectations you have for your husband, or future husband, what kind of expectations your future husband has for you. What roles will you guys play in your marriage? This is extremely important because most of the time when people go into marriage, they have an already preconceived idea about what marriage means to them. And so if I have my own idea and my husband has his own idea of what marriage means, and they don't really kind of mesh together, that could really cause some friction in our home, after we're already married. So it's kind of important to know what roles you want to play, what roles your husband wants to play, and then what roles you guys think y'all should play together. That's tip number tip number 2. Tip number 3. Okay, so one of the things that I did when I was preparing for marriage was that I sought out married couples. In order to make it to the 20-year mark, the 30-year mark, even the 5-year mark, it takes work, dedication, and like intention. Like you have to be so intentional about what you're doing, how like how you guys are going about your day to day. I mean, everything is very intentional. You know, you can't just like cruise through marriage if you want it to work. You guys have to put in work. So when I was talking to those married couples, I kind of was able to see like, okay, well, they have been putting in the work. Not only have they been putting in the work, but what kind of work? How was they able to get over a lot of the hurdles and the fights that they were able to get over to make it to that 5 year mark or that 20 year mark? Talking to these couples really helped me to see that there's more to marriage than just the ring, right? So it's actually work. And that kind of helps to put things into perspective in the beginning. So it's not like you're going through a fairy tale and then all of a sudden, bam, everything around you comes crashing down because you thought that, like you was just going to be living in this fantasy world. Marriage is not that. Marriage is work. It's a job, very good one, but it is a job. It's work, and you have to put into, like, what you put into it is what you're going to get out. The fourth tip that I have is seek therapy. Now, I know therapy isn't for everybody. So in my situation, we did go to therapy. I actually went to therapy first. It didn't start out as couple therapy. What happened was I saw that I had to work on some things through our relationship. There were some things that kept coming up that he was expressing like concerns with some things, and I saw it and I understood it, but I couldn't change it on my own. So I sought out therapy, and it was really helping me, and I was able to bring back what I learned in therapy to like my husband, or he was my fiance at the time, and he saw the change in me. And so when I started talking to my therapist about what we were going through, she suggested that I bring him in. And because he saw how much therapy was changing me, all the hard work and that I was putting in, and how like I was able to bring back what I learned into our relationship, he was willing to take the steps and take a come in for a session, and we did, and he came in for more than one. And so like that really helped us to learn how to communicate together. It also helped us to learn how to fight fear, and it really helped us to see each other's side. So kind of when it's just two relationships or two people in an argument, most times you argue to win. And we was doing that a lot of the times. Like I was talking at him really, and he wasn't really hearing what I was saying. He just wanted to respond, and he just wanted to be right, and I just wanted to be right. So it didn't matter what point I was making, how accurate my point was, what all the evidence I had, what all the evidence he had, his points. We didn't care about that. I just wanted to win the argument. He just wanted to win the argument. So when we kind of sat down and was able to get in front of our therapist, or my therapist, she was able to help us see each other's points by being a non-biased party in the dispute, right? So that really, really helped us a lot. And even to this day, I still do therapy. He doesn't do it with me anymore. But I know that if something came up and I wanted him to go, he would go. It is just such a valuable thing to have that people take for granted. So if you can do therapy, do it. Even if it is couples therapy, like do couples therapy or do your own therapy, lead by example, and then bring your husband on board or your fiance on board. And trust me, it will help. So that was the fourth tip. The fifth tip that I have is to seek out other like married couples or like a married tribe. So if you don't already have one. So I'm fairly young. I was kind of like the first person in my group in like my group of friends to get married. I was the first one to have a child. I was the first for a lot of things. So I had to seek out other women or other couples to be able to like bounce ideas off of, or if I'm going through something, I know that they can relate because they've been there, done that, and they could give me really sound advice. And not to say that your single friends can't give you advice, but single, and this is not everybody, but I do believe that advice from a single person can be completely different than advice from a married woman or a married friend. And this kind of goes back to like how you value marriage. So the example that I have is like, my husband cheated on me or something like that, right? So say he cheated on me and I just needed to vent. I vent to my single friends. My single friends might just be like, girl, you don't have to deal with that. He's a, man ain't ish, and kind of like just disregard the whole marriage part and just be like, girl, just leave, like, and not to say that that's not good advice and everything that they're saying is not true. Like, okay, if he cheats, I might not put him on a pedestal, but whereas if I was having the same conversation with a married friend, they might push me to try to fight for my marriage, push me to go to counseling, push me to try before I just say cut them loose. You know what I mean? When you have a tribe of women or a tribe of men that are married, or if you do like couples outings and stuff like that, you kind of get to see like you're not the only one going through a problem, and you get to see how that couple got through their problems. You can ask some questions. I do suggest, if you don't have any coupled friends, go find yourself some couple friends, because one, they're really cool to hang out with. You could do like couples things together and stuff like that, like go on vacation and stuff. So go find you some couples friends if you don't already have it. So okay, and that was the last tip for this video. I will be coming out with a part 2 for this video, so stay tuned for that. I want to thank everybody for watching this video, and I hope you guys like the video. Subscribe, leave a comment below if you want to further the conversation. I'm so willing to do that. And once again, thank you again so much, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.